Good evening.
Good evening, very good
So,
evening.
today with Discover Design once again on a Thursday, brought to you by GS Institute of Design. Welcome, everybody. And we are really happy to see you today for a very scintillating talk by Khem Raj Kala, who's going to talk to us about using visual merchandising as a business tool. This has been brought to you by Discover Design. Discover Design is a series of webinars to inform all our participants about the nuances of interior design. We have brought to you earlier 26 webinars on various aspects of interior design, including design, technology, technical, and all aspects of interior that may be possible. Those include products, colors, etc., textiles, furnishings, and so forth. To begin with, before we start, let me quickly take you to some rules. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So my name is Nain Xiao, and I'm the Dean and Mentor for the JS Institute of Design. My guest today is Khem Raj Kala, exhibition designer and visual merchandiser. Welcome, Raj. I'm
Hi.
going to, of course, give you some more details about it.
Yeah.
But before that, if you have any questions while Raj is showing us the kind of work he's done, you may put it down in the question and answer box, and we will take up all your questions at the end of the session. Meanwhile, I'm going to be talking to Raj about the kind of work he's done, and he has a lot of informative slides, a lot of work he's going to talk to us about. And then I'm very, very confident that by the end of the session, you would definitely have few things you will carry back home with you. So today our speaker is Khem Raj, and he is not only a graduate from National Institute of Design, but he has 18 years of experience as an exhibition designer as well as a visual merchandiser. His work experience encompasses many years of stint as a creative design leader who's worked as an expert in visual merchandising with trade shows, as well as graphics and retail outlet and design education, which is really important because I do think people and designers with design practice as their background at some point must come into design education to contribute to enriching the learning of design with their experience and sharing the kind of actual practices that take place in the industry. He's worked in Blackberries as head visual merchandiser and in other places such as Mother Care Private Limited, Benetton India, Shoppers Stop India, and private design studios such as Design Core Private Limited and Quetzal Design. So really a rich background I see, Raj. Please go ahead. If you'd like to add on anything to the background that you have, you're most welcome to come and share it with our participants. And I do invite you to talk to us about what visual merchandising is. How does it really help the business to grow and develop in terms of it as a business strategy? So welcome, Raj. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nian. Thank you very much to invite me for this beautiful session. And let's see how we can unfold all the stories and how we go about it. Okay. So yeah, you have already spoken so much about the background. I think there's no need to take it forward. But yes, as of now, I can say that I'm very much into the pedagogies, which I'm looking at. Okay, different various institutes. So working as a pedagogue. Okay, that's what. And yeah, and you rightly said, practicing designers must come into the education once in a while or quite often to deliver to the students, so it should not be just in isolation, both the cases. So It should be in
Right.
both ways. Okay, so I think that is much better way of sharing with each other on both the platforms. So let's see, and I'll just take you through the uh, a small, not small, but quite a substantial presentation. I will try to keep myself as much possible to be within the time frame. And anyways, I will just share with you screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is my scene is my screen
Yes,
visible?
Christopher.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
okay. So anyway, visual merchandising, it has been used so much. Okay, it's been used so much. Sometimes tell people that it is actually been abused by using so
Mm-hmm.
much. Okay, yeah, that's what. I mean, every time it just, so much, so much, so much. Some people, they I think the basic of this visual merchandising is very simple. It is not just the window, because what happens most of the time, people they think, I mean, I'm just telling you, like with my experience, that most of the people they think that visual merchandising is only limitized only to the images, the changing the visuals within the space, the retail space, and the window. That's it. However, this is a part of the visual merchandising. That is not the visual merchandising. So I just wanted to first thing make it very clear. Secondly,
Mm-hmm.
what if I summarize this visual merchandising, what it is a simpler manner. It's a art plus science is equal to mathematics, the simplest expression which I can produce for you, which means it means it is a logical and the systematic way of putting the things aesthetically, okay, with the logical manner, which generates the income or enhance the business, which entices the customer. Simple. So this is the shortest
Right.
definition which I can give. Okay. Now, how it impacts the retail business, okay, or the retail space? It actually converts the passers-by into the customer and the customers into the buyer. So that is the kind of journey it actually does. So when the marketing team I mean, marketing and the VM, these two are like the twin brothers. They are the twins. They are the brother sisters, or they are like twins. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
they work hand to hand. Okay, so the marketing team brings the people up to the door, okay, of the store, up to the facade, and inside it is all VM's job to take it forward, converting into the buyer, the customer. Okay, so it's very essential role which any visual merchandiser does play. Okay, it is a silent seller. Okay, I always say that best VM is always when there is no one around. It's only the interaction between the merchandiser,
Okay.
between the merchandise and the customer. That's it. I think this is the best way to put it across VM as. Okay, if you are not having anyone there, it's self-explanatory. Okay,
Right.
so just taking it forward, there are
Mm-hmm.
few elements, which we can with which I mean it's a very vast subject, but I'm just trying to put few elements together. So one of them happens to be the store exterior. Okay, so there are a few key elements. So one of them is store exterior, store layout, store interiors, and the interior display, which is a seasonal, which is a changeable. Store interiors is more or less which is a permanent in the nature. So now, when I say where does it start from actually? This visual merchandising starts from the moment a customer steps out of his house. It actually starts from there itself. Okay, so which means what happens? You navigate this visual merchandising is navigating a customer all the way when he's on the on the highway or on some place where the signage it plays a very vital role to bring the customer there and direct him towards that direction. Okay, so making sure that it is well done, properly lit, facade, of course. Then we once the customer gets there on the in the mall or in the premises around. So if I talk about the mall firstly, if I say so from the parking lot itself, you will have a directive given to the customer, okay, or so that he locates the store. with the store directory, with the signages and all. So it's again a guiding factor. When the customer goes in front of the retail facade, so that facade should be impeccable. It should have that kind of an impression to the customer that he gets the clear communication and the message. It should be, if I just try to, have some fancy words around that love at first sight. Okay, so that's what it is, correct? So you can't miss it. Now, if you go to the next one,
Right.
okay. Yeah, so it is throughout how it is throughout just the brand which is being represented by the visual merchandising team, okay, or the visual merchandiser, okay, with different notes, with the different visual notes, right? So one of them happens to be store facade, which is curiosity catalyst. This is the first catalyst between the customer and the store within. So it acts as a catalyst for the customer to step in. And from the window or the facade itself, customer gets the gist of what exactly is going to see inside, which narrates the story of the collection and the store inside. Like if you see what is happening on the right hand side window out here, it talks about it's a spring summer. It is a summer. It's not just the spring summer. It's a summer rather. Okay, where the kind of merchandise you will be getting, that is also there. So it is a story which has been spun around the product. However, the core hero happens to be always the product. Okay, so all these are supporting elements which are to be keyed in or factor in, right? Now, when
So
I
can
talk
I
about
ask you a question?
yeah, please. Yeah.
I can see that your facade and your window display is extremely inviting. It gives a sort of, it really is, scintillating for the viewers. They get excited and they come into the store. Now, has it ever happened that sometimes all this display seems to be offering a lot more promises than what may be inside? Do you think that ever happens? And is that something which you can take care through the merchandise that you may be displaying in the windows?
Okay. Before going ahead, I will just give you these are not my window design. Okay, these I've picked up. Okay, so these are just going through. So these are not mine.
For your opinion.
Uh-huh. So these are
No,
not
I'm
mine.
asking for your opinion.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's what I said before I answer you. I'm just telling you these are not my windows. So it is a kind of a, yeah, my work is also there, and there is some work which I picked up, from as a reference, just to take this entire thing forward. So anyway, now coming to your question, which you said, okay. I mean, yes, sometimes what happens, the customer uh, expectations are there definitely, but at the same time, what are those expectations? The final thing happens to be the product only. The windows main role happens to be for the customer to step inside the store. So it should be attractive. It should not be just a boring. That's why the story is spun around. That's why those props and the the lighting and the mannequins, the fall, the drape, everything put together, so that customer gets in and he sees what exactly the kind of merchandise he had seen outside, so he gets the gist and he gets the wider range inside and which is good enough to entice the customer. So by the time he comes out, he will have something to be bought. Okay, so that's the intention with which
All right.
visual merchandiser works. Okay,
All right.
right,
Yes, please go ahead.
correct. So then I said that it's a retail layout, which is very much important because every inch of retail is to be accounted. It has got an accountability in terms of its monitorial accountability. So making sure each and every inch is being justified in terms of its space, in terms of its fixture, juxtapositions, justifications, whatever you call it as, okay? Making sure each and every area is being well justified in terms of the business, in terms of the revenue generation. That's where we are having the GMROF, okay, the gross margin return on the investments and the footage area. So there are different technical, tools which our finance team or the, operation team, these people, they do, but that's okay. Business development team, they do. But yes, we must understand by being as a visual merchandiser, we must understand those criticalities so that in order to justify the space, okay?
Correct.
That's where, in what area, what category will be displayed, okay? Which area where the lifestyle showcasing of this product will be there and which side the category will be displayed. So all these have to be taken care of while you are designing the store itself, designing, not once the space is ready. While you're designing, the layout itself has to be well thought through, okay?
Right.
There are some areas which are like visual touch points. You may not be able to do the business directly from there, but still you would like to use them as a visual touch points, which means that you are sensitizing the customer to look at them, get excited, get enticed, and go to next to the relevant merchandise, pick it up, test it, buy, walk off. That's what. So which means like the pillars, if you get to see, there are some pillars. So you cannot do any business from there, okay? But you can still have some kind of an imagery. You can have some kind of a props which is there, or such kind of a, those body forms which are being displayed out here. No, if I say there are like a visual spots which you have, so I call them as a visual stimuli, so all these are stimuli which visual merchandiser will have to seek all those areas and the spots which sensitizes the customer to walk in, explore, go further, pick it up. That's what engaging and the enticing. So these are the areas like you can have the cluster of mannequins which talks about the collection and which talks about the communication instantly. The customer registers and know what exactly is going to see inside the store while he walks through. Okay. Now, if you talk about the stimuli two, which is color story or the thematic collection. So collections or the merchandise which we have, these are not abruptly done. It is having some kind of a color story. It is having some kind of a story behind, some collection, some thematic collection, the inspiration. So all these have to be put together by the visual merchandisers. Okay. So not only it generates, because color itself is a very strong area to look into, so you can't miss it. You can't miss it. So that's what it really plays a very vital role. Okay, either thematic collection display or the color story display. Now, if I talk about the next, which is another stimuli, which is a visual balance or the cross merchandise. Why does it happen? The reason, because all the visual merchandisers, okay, or if I say not only the visual merchandisers, but everyone, okay, in the retail industry have got only one focused approach, so-called enhancing the business. Enhancing the business means whatever they are expecting more than that, what they can deliver. So for that, there is always something called the basket size, or we say the ticket size, which needs to be increased. So that's where we call it as a cross merchandise plays a very, very essential and the vital role, which means not only it does the visual balance, but at the same time, it offers the entire ensembles together, the entire ensembles or the coordinates together. So we are not just selling the product as a visual merchandiser, you are selling the entire concept to the onlooker, the entire ensemble. And I've seen by my own that people on the mannequins, on the dress form, the people, they came only for maybe just one t-shirt, they've taken the denim, they've taken the shoes, they've taken the bag, the entire thing.
Oh,
so yeah, that's what it happens. So that iota of the plus, that positive iota, that's what it works with the visual merchandising, especially with the cross merchandise.
Right.
Okay.
Help me understand, how long is the visual stimuli onto the mannequin or displayed on the stand? How long is it on?
See, it should be approximately a week or so.
And then the whole thing is changed.
Yeah, then it gets changed, because see what happens, there are different tools, as I talked about, especially the Jim Roy and Jim Roth, okay, those I was talking about. So these tools, they actually measure the performance of the merchandise which has been displayed. If it is not being sold, then it gets taken away, okay, it rotates into a different place and then next one comes in. Okay, so sometimes something which is a folding, which is not looking, I'm telling you, because what happens in the folding, manner, the merchandise may not be giving the correct appearance, but the moment it is displayed on the frontal or onto the mannequins or on the body form, it takes its actual shape and it changes the entire perception.
Correct.
So, so one will have to always keep on working towards, something which is unfolding, how it needs to be displayed, something which is not being worked out, how that needs to be rotated somewhere else. So, which is intra-rotation or the inter-rotation. That is a separate chapter to look into. Thanks.
That's
okay.
Correct.
Then, as I said, like styling and the accessorizing. Again, what is happening? It is like from macro to the micro, which we are having the journey from as a visual merchandiser. So now we have come up to the merchandise. It is not just the product. It is the product with the styling, with the accessorizing. Without accessories, without stylizing, the product remains incomplete.
Correct.
So if you see the dress over there and the hat or maybe the bag or the neck piece, everything is telling a story. Even the way it has been put together. Okay, so everything it communicates that it needs to be picked up as a complete set, not just one in isolation. Okay, so that's what I said. God lies in detail. So the kind of accessory you pick up, that is also an art.
Right.
Okay. Now coming to the next, which is a retail space. Okay, so what I talked about so far, how the visual merchandiser or the visual merchandising, this aspect, it works from the macro to the micro level. Okay, from outside, from the facade, okay, till the last bit of a particular piece. And there's a dynamics which is behind this merchandise. It is because as a customer, what we do, we like something, we pick it up, cash counter, go pay and come out. That's but what all goes behind is a lot of work. It is a lot of thought process which goes behind it. As I said, it's art plus science is equal to mathematics. Okay, so that's what towards the mathematics, for what art and science, both everyone puts these two together, art and science, to ensure that we get a good mathematics. Okay, so now we could talk about the retail space. I always call it as a dynamic container. Okay, hello, hello?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you disappeared for a while.
Sorry, I'm just having a cough.
Okay, no worries. I was wondering what happened. Okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, retail space, I always call it as a dynamic container. Okay, so as I said, like there is a lot more is going behind, behind the scene, a lot more is happening. It starts almost like an year back, the merchandise which you see that actually being conceived year and a half back or a year back, almost that long. And then that time, all the teams, they come together, work together and make sure when at the stipulated time, which has been given, like say spring, summer, or the autumn, winter, whatever the seasonal merchandise needs to be reached to the store, that you get to see then and there. Okay. So now, when I talk about the dynamic, when I said that it's a dynamic container, so in order to make sure that it is profitable, okay, shall I stop it for a while, or are you okay, Neil?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Go
sure.
ahead.
Okay. So when I say, so what is happening out here, as I said, it's a dynamic container. So much of strategy, so much of thought process goes behind it. If I just bullet point it out here for a while, which is like retail strategy, which is with the 5 P's plus 1 P. 1 P has been in a recent past, which has been added. So product, price, placement, people, promotion. So these are the factors, or if I say the pentagon of the retail pentagon, on which entire retail strategies is revolving around, making sure that there's a justification to the retail space, which means correct product, correct assortment, quality. Okay, then the price, as per the season, as per the time, as per the the quality, the price, and the placement of the store where it is very much essential. It cannot be absurd. It cannot be like mismatch of the customer and the store. Both have to be synced in terms of visibility, in terms of the in terms of the pocket as well. They need to be synced in. Then we talk about the people. People is basically your staff, how groomed or how educated your staff is. Because let me tell you, any customer comes not to pick up the product. He comes to take the product along with the information.
Correct.
Okay, so what happens? The customer, he actually wants to get educated. He wants to have some kind of acknowledgement from the staff and the customer. That's why you see all the people, they are very well groomed. But now, earlier people, they used to come next to you, sir, may I help you? But nowadays people, they don't want, as I said, people, they would like to have the VM where there's no one around. Okay,
Yeah.
it should be self-explanatory. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So the promotion is definitely very much important. Okay, where you are having ATL and BTL activities. So now the pixel which has taken, like it has been overpowered, you know, it has taken the front seat now, which is social media, vlogs and blogs. Okay, so that's what I said. It's one more P which has been added. It's a byproduct of the promotion itself, but in a larger scale. Precisely the reason it needed to be enhanced here. Okay, so nowadays everyone is going into the same digital platform. Everyone. Okay.
So does it mean that because now we have a new customer, which is the millennial age group, they require a different form of outreach, new forms of information? Is that why Pixel is so more important nowadays
Yes.
than how it used to be in the earlier times? Other five Ps.
Very
So
true.
tell us more, a little bit more about how would you look at marketing it to the millennials?
Okay. See, nowadays, if you say 95% people will have the mobile in their hand, 95%. 5% I'm saying while they are sleeping. That time they would not be having. Otherwise, they will have. So I'm kidding. I mean, everyone will have a mobile nowadays. Okay. And everyone has got a smartphone. Right.
Correct.
So the smartphone has changed the entire game. It has changed the entire world, smartphone. Now, what has happened? So, social media, it just earlier, like I was just talking to the students other day, some of the students of mine, that we used to have we used to mug up at least, say, 10 books, and out of 10 books, we would get some 20 liners, okay, some relevant 20 liners, right, for our thesis or for our, whatever the project is. But nowadays, you write uh, two or just 5 words, okay, and you get 10 books and 10 relevant lines with just those 10 words. So it is so easy, so accessible. So because of that, everyone is wants to be there, because it's a wider reach. It's a wider reach is the most important. And as you said, the millennial, that's what it it connects very well. It brings the taste, the homogeneous taste of the people as well. And where it works together, it works in the analytics, it works in the analysis.
Right.
So what kind of people, what kind of age group is looking into what kind of stuff? So it actually helps the retailer to work on those lines, especially for the merchandise.
Correct. So
Okay.
would that information, which I believe is implementation of AI or artificial intelligence in the whole retail system, does it help you to look at visual merchandising to improve it, to do it differently, and so forth? Would you say, is it so?
Yes, it is. It is. It is definitely. See, what happens? One technology goes, next one comes, okay, or gets enhanced. So does everyone will have to change their, if you can't change the tools, change the battlefield. So it's like time to change the battlefield. It's like that. Or so which means you're absolutely right. As this social media and the new, VR, AR, all these intelligence, AI and the VR, all these are coming into the picture. So definitely visual merchandising people, okay, these people will have to get into, or they are synced in for the same. They got to be synced in, which means that your display have to be more digital oriented, okay. Your, I mean, it should be more of an more of an intelligence kind of a thing. Like you get inside the from a machine inside, you walk through and your entire body is measured, and the your cloth comes in, like those kind of areas. So there is another thing also. Not, I mean, people what they have done, they just to map it up in the trolley, they will have their RFID, okay, and then the kind of path they are making, okay, they will understand at what point, at what place the customer is standing for a longer time. So what should be the highest MRP should be put over there.
Wow.
Okay, so there are like a lot of things.
It is almost like being stalked as you enter a retail space. I'm sorry, I feel like that. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, there's so much to look into. It's not just so every time. I mean, visual merchandiser needs to have his brain always ticking. What next? What more can be done? So that's what it cannot be just static. Okay.
Absolutely, that's smart.
Okay, so
Yes.
going next to the types of merchandise and the product, which is like if I just categorize these with which the retail has been put together, which is impulse product, demand product, specialty product, and the category product. And because based on these, the entire layout is done by the business development team, by the merchandiser, by the product, and the visual merchandiser. All people will have to come together to ensure that the store will be justified well with respect to its relevant category or the product. Okay.
Correct.
So when I say impulse product, it is an unplanned buying. You must have seen those, at the cash counter, cash counter, or while you're just about to leave, you will have something which is like a trigger for you to pick it up. You can't, it's like irresistible. Maybe a chocolate, a pack of chocolate, okay, maybe a gift for someone, which is like not very expensive, but something which you can give as a very handy, okay, like socks or small artificial jewelries, those. So what is happening? Like a person is through and thorough with his shopping, but the moment he picks it up, what has he done? He has increased his ticket size. And that's what, as I told you in the beginning, everyone looks for fastest liquidation and the ticket size increment. That's what is the core. Go to the next one, which I say the demand product, which is essential buying. So essential buying is something which one would like to possess no matter what, like bread and butter, eggs. These are essential buys. You have to have those. So those are kept somewhere within the retail space where one would not mind walking all the way till the rear end of the store, because those are essentials. If you see the suits, especially if I say like say Blackberries, if I just give you an example, okay, because that's my, I mean, closest to my heart, okay. So Blackberries, you see suits, sherwanis and all, okay, suits, especially the wedding collection, that will be kept, suits and all, which is essentials, they will be kept towards the rear side of the store, not right in the front. One would not mind walking all the way, because that's, yeah, so that's what, it's an essential part. Now, specialty products, these are loyal buying. When I say loyal buying means like Benetton, which is known for its very unique kind of cuts in the, or the washes in the denim. At the same time, Benetton has got a tricot, which is for the ladies, very specialized. It has got a speciality. Like if I say Blackberries, which is again for the suits, especially for the wedding suits, the collection which they have. And the very important collection which they have, which is for the boardroom meeting, okay, the formal collection. So these are, so people who know about these collections, they know where to go. No matter what is there in the world, they will go only to this, because they know in the next season or this season, what special they have for me to offer. So let me just go and check. It's a loyal buying, I always call it as, okay. Then there is a category product, okay, which is where the customer would like to have the analytical ability to be put together, okay, which is analytical buying. So what he does, he will have a category. He knows that he's need to have a shirt, and that needs to be a checkered shirt. But then he will look into the different brands, different material. So all the checkers are put together at one place with the various brands.
Oh.
So he can choose whichever he wants.
All right.
Okay, and the denim also, the chinos also, you see. So these are the category driven areas. Then if I talk about the retail imagery, okay, the retention
So,
process. Okay.
a question over
Yeah,
here.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
It
please.
has it has always intrigued me when you find, let's say, a couple shopping together, or let's say a man, woman, and children shopping together. There are some peculiar behavior that one notices very frequently. Men normally don't like. I see a lot of men waiting for their wives to finish shopping, and it is always the women who seem to be shopping for the children, though the men and women both look after the children at that age in terms of partnership, and yet I find it is the women who are shopping for it. So with such kind of behavior, because the genders behave differently, do you as visual merchandiser position your merchandise differently, or place it differently in the whole store? Can you give us some light on that?
Oh, yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah, you are absolutely right. See, ladies and the ladies and I mean men and women, both of them, they have got very different way of doing the shopping. Shopping pattern is absolutely different.
Mhm.
Females, they are more into the explorations. They explore. They never take the decision at once. Okay, and it there is nothing wrong or right. It is just it's a nature. I mean, that's how it is. That's how the both male and female are. Okay, their way of looking at things. So they are more into the explorations, and then they decide they will go all the way in the store, and then they will decide what they want to pick up. Sometimes it happens that they will go for a particular product, but they will end up buying something else, not that product. That is also there. Okay. But with the men, what happens? It is first of all the offering is very limited. Okay. If you see, they will have a limited offerings. Okay, and they will be all expensive, which means your belt will be expensive, wallet, belt, your the watch, shoe, trouser, shirts, or t-shirt or denim. So these are the one. But for the ladies, from a very small range to the higher range, you get so much of varieties.
Correct.
Okay. Now, as I said, so in this case, the men, they always will, they since they are very focused, they always want to go quickly buy and get out. However, ladies, they want to explore, right? So because of that, the positioning of the product and the floors, you get to see that in the multiple level floor, you will see the topmost floor will be always of the men. Even if you put three offices in between, they still will go on the top, no issues. They don't mind walking all the way. Okay. The bottommost area you will see in the multiple multi-stories building, the bottommost will be mostly for the non-apparel areas, which is more glittery, jittery, and at the same time more inviting and enticing in terms of the highest MRP range, which is perfumes, watches, non-apparels, shoes, bags, ladies' bags, so many things, all these will be there on the ground floor. Mostly at the rear side of the store or on the first floor, you will see ladies, okay, they will have their collections all over, and the right next to it will have the kids section, because ladies are far more sensitive than guys, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So they know very well what size will be coming to my child. Guys would not even be knowing the number, what size will be coming, but ladies will be knowing this, because they are, as I said, they're very sensitive. So they know the sensitivity comes in all possible sphere of life, so does the children as well. Okay. Responsibility and sensitivity, these were two different aspects. When I'm saying men, they are very much responsible, not that they are making them, they are very much responsible, no doubt about it. But as far as sensitivity goes, okay, ladies are more into it. So that's how it is kept right next to it, to the ladies section. So very well put together. Okay.
Right. Great.
Now, okay. If so, like I was, as I was telling you, it's a retail imagery, a retention process. So I was fortunate enough to, while I was working with the Blackberries, just give me a second. Sorry, there was some disturbance in the background. Yeah. So now what happens? I was fortunate enough to be a part of the identity change of Blackberries. Okay, while
Okay.
it was happening, so I was really really fortunate. So I mean, along with the team, of course, of my team, with all the people, okay, which is a external consultant to the internal team, myself, my team, everyone. I mean, everyone worked towards it, and it was a wonderful experience for me. So this was BlackBerry's identity change. So when I'm talking about the identity, it is not just the logo or the mnemonics or the stationery or the social media. No, it is more than that. It was beyond, which means you are changing the identity in toto, which means you are having the fixture change, you are having the imagery change, you are having the merchandise also changed, which is getting enhanced, you know. So all these things were taken place. So I was very fortunate enough, and immense learning was had happened. And mostly you will see that the brand which is like 15 to 20-year old almost, they always go, I mean, they tend to go for the change in their, you know, they always would like to leave from current platform to the next one. So it means next imagery must be changed now. So this is my observation so far.
Correct.
Okay, so now if I just take you through how it has happened in the retail industry so far. uh, so product introduction is done, as I said, which is like way back, which is year and a half or year back, where the retail industry is there and the partners, channel partners are there. So these people, they come and they look at the range and they place the order, and then they go ahead with the merchandise. So the next merchandise which comes, okay, next season merchandise, when it hits the floor. So that time your social media, logistic team, product team, everyone works towards it, making sure that at the correct time you are having the merchandise with the correct communication and the imagery, so-called the window or internal communication.
Right.
That's what the season launch is all about. Okay, the back to school again, which is like towards, you know, new season. Then the very much important part of this entire visual merchandising happens to be the planogramming part.
Mhm.
Again, which is planogramming is, it's Jim Roth, okay, which is your every square footage of area is calculated, every inch is calculated. So making sure that you are doing the justification to the SKUs which have been given, or the merchandise or the product which has been given to the store, how it needs to be displayed on the floor. It should not be overstocked, it should not be understocked, it should be well justified, making sure, and every time it changes, there's a transition happens. In the beginning of the season launch, there will be less merchandise, so that time you will be doing a linear kind of a display, then the dense display. All these are different, you know, nomenclature, which it's a chapter by its own. It's a separate you know, working. But this planogramming is basically wall elevations and the floor planning, okay, and it keeps on rotating as per the time of,
Right.
or the seasonal time, you know. That's what, and that's what the merchandise presentation is. So if I say this is the mool mantra of our visual merchandising or the retail industry is, which is jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai, right?
Correct.
So basis on these planogrammings, okay, we display our merchandise as a category or as a lifestyle or as a linear, whichever way. Okay, and if I conclude in this way that there are 5 rights, okay,
Mhm.
so which is like the right merchandise at the right place at the right time, the right quantity, and at the right price. If all these things are taken care of, then retail will be well justified. So these 5 rights have to be well taken care by all the merchandisers and the entire team of retail. That's what.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot to remember, a lot of things to happen right in the right time, right place, in the right manner. And I do think only then it translates into the bottom line, and hence the business growth. So
Yes.
great. But before we move on to some of the other questions, I think one of the areas that I really wanted to check with you right now is the COVID has taken over our lives in the last year. And a lot of things which were very exciting for many shoppers and customers was to actually visit the malls and visit the retail space, experience all this visual merchandise that you see around you. So, what has happened to that now in these times when we are all under lockdown? Are the malls getting ready in any way to welcome back the customers, get them to open up their purse strings, get more excited about, buying, shopping? Are they doing equal anything exciting after the COVID, preparing for the after the COVID times?
After the COVID, when this goes off. See, yes, I mean, see what there is a shift which I've seen over the period. Okay, I mean the one which is very evident also. Everything boils down to money. Okay, so what everyone is trying to do, if they cannot increase the top line, they are they are trying to save the bottom line. So bottom line is becoming the prime factor nowadays. Nowadays, okay. So everyone is now. What will happen once the COVID goes away? Okay, so the shift has already started, which means that people they are trying to make their presence digitally also. They're getting
Right.
into digital, so
Mm-hmm.
that so their customer is well aware while visiting the store.
Mm-hmm.
This will also be possible that the store, most of the merchandise, it will be sent to the home, sent to people's houses with the catalog, okay, with some
Correct.
kind of a product as well. That you cannot come, we are coming to you, making sure we are offering you. So the customer, the CRM, so-called the customer relationship management, that will work very strongly, and people are actually working on it, making sure how they are enticing their customer, and especially the customers which are the uh, uh, the loyal customer, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or the repeat customer. And believe me, like all the good retailers who have survived so far is all because of their repeat customers.
Correct.
So if customer is your 65 to 70% is a repeat customer, you are very good retailer, no doubt about it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what it's happening right now. People are going more into digital. Okay, the areas is getting shrunk. Okay, the retail spaces getting shrunk. People they are working from home. Because of that, your lot of other things are happening, which means like for the retailers also it is for the retail companies also it is working better, because they are getting a good manpower probably, okay, at a lesser prices. Because I will just give you an example. Maybe a very uh, competent competent say employee, okay, a lady, okay, she cannot do traveling all the way from Ghaziabad to Gurgaon, okay, and but at the same time if she needs to work from home, right, she needs to work from home, she would not mind having the less salary of 25% or 30% lesser. She is more happy. Because of that she will be able to cope up with all factors, you know. So that is the reason. So these are the things which is being changed right now. I mean, that seem to be changed, but as of now, uh, once the COVID gets over, so more people will be having lesser the expenditure, more of an impact. That these are the strategies which they will be taking. And there might be you don't know, there might be merchandise which is like the top will be very heavily loaded, it will be very good, but the bottom will be very plain types, because mostly people they are working from home, so they are in front of the screen. So I mean that's, but together as an ensemble it will look nice.
Yes, I can already see that. I'm told the pajamas are getting back into trend. Uh,
Okay.
so, well, I still have many questions for you, Khemraj. We have
Yeah.
a pile of them, so I'm going to move on to the questions asked by the participants. If you're ready for it, if you'd like to have a glass of water, please go ahead. So, in the
Yeah.
meantime, Tubangi, one of our participants, she has a little bit of a complaint about the retail setup. So she says that I visited so many retail stores. Most of the time, the clothing item in women's section are kept so far up that we can't reach it and end up not exploring or buying those products at all. So, shouldn't the retail spaces have some balance in terms of the average height of the buyer? so that it is more approachable? What a sensible question this is. So,
No,
Khemraj,
very
please
good. Very
answer
good.
this.
Very
This
good.
is very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, sure. See, the height, I will tell you, the average height in India, which happens to be for the woman, is 5 feet 2 inches. Okay. 5 feet 2 to 3 inches. That's what it is, more or less. So in this case, we always go with the average. Okay. So the fixture height, which is an ideal one, which happens to be 1950 mm. When I say 1950 mm means 6.5 feet should be the hook of the hanger on the top.
Correct.
That's what the height is. People, they take it till 2100 as well, which is 7 feet, considering the fact that it is just a 6 inch, but definitely that 6 inches, that makes a difference. That
Right.
really makes a difference. So surely there should be, I completely agree with you that in the women's and the men's section, there should be a difference of the height. Definitely it should be. I completely agree with you.
Absolutely. Shubhangi, that
Yeah.
was a very smart question, and I hope all retailers take note of that.
Yeah.
So another one from an aspiring visual merchandiser. So this what the our designer is very keen to know that won't all the brands have the same plan for visual merchandising? Once you today, whatever you informed us is going to be followed by a lot of visual merchandisers. So how do the brands make themselves unique? Is there a way to stand out amongst the numbers of brands that are going to be viewed by the customer?
See, first of all, whatever you say, I mean, just try to understand. In the retail industry, the core happens to be only one thing, is the product. The main hero is only the product. Only the product. Rest all is a supporting element. All of them are just they just patronage the main product, nothing else. Which means if your product is not good enough, then no matter how much you do, whatever you do, it is not going to be working out. So basis on your product, basis on the strategy, basis on the vision of the company, knowing the company, basis on all that, your entire story is spun around, and then it's put it together in a concrete and a summarized manner within the retail space, be it window, be it interiors, be it fixture, or anything. Main hero happens to be the product. Okay, so that's all I can say. That every brand will have its own unique definition or its unique USP, or I mean unique identity.
Right.
Okay, and people will have to work towards it. That's all.
So I guess the various visual merchandisers will have to adapt to the brand identity, brand imageries. As you get to understand it better, you'll be able to form your solutions for VM around that.
Yes.
Right. So we have another question which is asking, how is the VM different for the sales period compared to the regular times? So is it different when you have sales, which is I think quite maddening? It's a maddening
End of
question.
season
What
sale.
is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
regular time?
Yeah. It is different. Yeah. Very good question. It's a different. See.
Correct.
See. Firstly, understand. Like uh, usually, I mean, what happens? The customer of EOSS, end of season sale. Okay, is different from the customer who is who buys the merchandise in the fresh or during the season launch. It is, I will say something like this. There are some people, they have got this passion, this, it's like it's like, how do I say? It's like a passion, not a passion or madness, I don't know, whatever it is called, that first day, first show, mere ko dekhna hai, movie dekhna hai. Those kind of people, there are some people like this. So yeah, in the retail industry also, there are some people. There are people like this. There are customers. No matter what, show me what is new, show me something new. Okay, is there something new which has come and I want to have it, I need to have this, making sure I need to flaunt it the first, no one else. Okay,
Correct.
now at the same time, when I say these EOSs, yes, there is a difference in the display. In the EOSs, your main objective is to have the in the lesser money, how maximum can I buy and the relevant I can buy. So best of the rest I shall be having. So that time it will be more of a stocked and the category display. Category means all the shirts together, all the sets, size sets together.
Right.
Not so much of coordinated or the ensemble or the lifestyle kind of a display. It is more of a stocking, more of a category display. So that customer has got ease to pick it up with a analysis, the comparative analysis, pick it up, go, walk away. That's what. And during the new season launch, when it is not regular, when it is not EOSS, that time you do permutation combination, put it together, make the ensembles, offer the complete offering to the customer, and ask him to take the entire set, which is like always thriving onto the ticket size and increasing the basket size. Hmm.
So there is a lot of enticement which needs to be on offer in such a case. So similarly, would you say that visual merchandising for an economical brand versus a boutique brand, is going to be very different from each other? And how can you make it different?
It is a different. It is a. I think can is a. I think first, if we talk about the regular one, which is the economic brand, and the boutique one, the customer is absolutely different. First of all,
Right.
it's completely different. The best example which I give to all the students is there are three malls which we have in Vasant Kunj
Mm-hmm.
together, one by one. So all three stores is a perfect case study. Like the person who's going to the Emporio, okay, and the person who's going to the Promenade will be completely different from each other. Okay. So now, as far as boutique is concerned, they have a very, it's a class based, not the mass based. However, the economic one zone, which is mass based, not the class based. Okay.
Right.
So the class based one is very specific in terms of the strategy of putting the things together. And it is because the money is not so much so called the constraint over there, but the offering makes a difference. So
Right.
that time you need to have, as per the guideline, as per their understanding, as per the vision, and as per the brand, whatever it is, you need to make it different, of course. It is a different.
Right. Uh, Thank you. I just have one last question for you, Raj. Would you do advise our participants what are the competencies or backgrounds required for you to become a visual merchandiser?
See, first of all, I will say that inquisitiveness should definitely be there in the visual merchandiser. And
Right.
when I say inquisitiveness, means it should be in all possible spheres of the design, not only restricting to the merchandise or the display or the folding or the unfolding and putting it together on the mannequins. No, it's not the only area. It is one of the part. I would say that if you got to have the streak of good graphic designer,
Mm-hmm.
good product designer, good space planner, and I mean, you visual sensitivity you should be having, and the most important part that you should be, which comes over the period, of course, okay, which means you should be having the analytical ability also in terms of the business, because your specialization should be a support to the business. So hand to hand, it should be worked together with the business team, with the business development, operation, and the finance team. So person who can align himself very well in these spheres will be really great. So these are the competencies which I can summarize with.
Great. Thank you so much, Khemraj, and thank you for your deep insight into visual merchandising. I think this is definitely useful for the aspiring designers. Those who are interested in visual merchandising definitely need a background in space design, understanding of material, being able to visualize, being able to, so, and hence your skills of drawing, certain software skills, understanding of product and material needs to be in place. So I do think please explore such an option, because for us at this point, retail industry is on the rise, is booming, and we are just waiting for COVID to get over for you guys to have that experience and the opportunities. Meanwhile, I do want to invite you to visit the JS Institute of Design website. Have a look at the courses that are on offer. If you have any more questions regarding, I have a few more questions, but I'm going to take it on later. I'm going to send it to you later, Raj, about similar questions on visual merchandising. And I will be very grateful to you to answer them, and we will forward it to the questions to the participants. But
Sure,
meantime,
definitely.
do visit JS Institute of Design website. Have a look at our other earlier webinars, 26 of them across all different topics. Thank you very much. Hope you had a good time. Have a great weekend. And thank you once again, Raj.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Yeah.
Bye bye.